Hello artists, here is Miss Dolores. I have shown you how to work with watercolor and I truly hope you had a chance to try it because it's a favorite technique of mine. But today I want to explore an alternative to watercolor in case you don't have a watercolor set or even if you do because this one is a lot of fun. There is something that probably you have around that with a little trick works like watercolor. It has a similar effect. I am talking about washable markers. There are all kinds of washable markers. In fact, most markers made for young artists are washable. Just make sure the label says washable. Permanent markers like this one will not work. I am going to use a watercolor paper, but be aware, not all watercolor papers work in this experiment with washable markers. I know this one does. I have some Q-tips, a brush. You can also use a spray bottle if you have one. First, I am going to work with the markers, no water. I just draw with the colors. I don't have to be very precise or fill in very carefully my shapes. I don't press hard when I draw with markers. When I press too hard, I damage the marker. You see, I don't spend too much time trying to cover the paper. Maybe just in some areas to get more color. Okay, now comes the water. I apply water with my brush over the areas that have color. I can spray water too. Or use the Q-tips. The sponge will work too. I am going to wait now to get my paper dry. Now it's dry. I can add more colors with my markers. Make sure the paper is really dry. Otherwise, the markers will stop working if they come in contact with the wet surface. I add water and it's like the wet on dry technique that I talked about before. I wait again. My paper is dry, more colors. I don't really know why some papers work and some papers don't. I bet it has something to do with the way the paper is made and what's in it. You can create all kinds of things. In this case, I drew with a pencil very softly the outlines for a face. If I know I want the color to be really intense, saturated, that is, concentrated, I add more lines with my marker, filling the area a little more. When I am ready, I add water. With the water, the colors start blending into each other. If I don't want to lose the shapes completely, I try to work within each color, each section. Still, the sections will merge into each other, and you will have to be ready for that. But you can also control that by applying the wet on dry technique. I can work on this area with the markers because this part of the paper is dry. At the end, I can add some accent details. You can add more colors with the markers, making sure they don't touch the water or the wet areas. You can see that the effect, now that the pieces are dry, is quite like watercolor. The fun of it is letting the water do its magic. There are always surprises. It is all about experimenting. Oh, what a beautiful word, experimenting. Something we artists do a lot, all the time. So I invite you to experiment. Try different papers, different markers if you have more than one brand. See what works. Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes you make wonderful discoveries. Oh. And remember, I am an artist.